Hello everyone, it is me, Nekopuf, and today we are having a very special day because we just hit, drumroll please, 200 subscribers! Yay! I'm so happy we just hit 200 real people. I have been posting for the past year or two, kind of on and off, but my New Year's resolution for this year, for 2026, is to start posting more on YouTube because, one day we are going to reach 1,000 subscribers, and one day we're gonna reach 10K, then one day we're gonna reach 100K, and then one day we're gonna reach 1 million! But to do that means that I need to post more. And so you guys will be seeing videos from me every other Tuesday from now on. And so today, since we reached 200 subscribers, I am doing a 2025 scrapbook tour. If you guys didn't know, I started an idle scrapbook. I write down and I put in little stickers and put in little photos or little trinkets that I get from you guys, and I will put it in my scrapbook to keep record of everything and not lose anything. And so I want to show you guys my scrapbook of 2025. Here is the beloved scrapbook. Okay, she looks, I want to change the cover, okay?
No,
I want to change the cover, but if you guys didn't know, I got this from a thrift store for $6. So I call this a win, and I can always put some kind of fabric on it to make it look cuter and nicer, because the green is okay, but I want to change it to something different, but I just haven't yet, and that's okay. So, drumroll please, we'll start looking through this beautiful scrapbook now, and I will be doing a voiceover because, I don't want to do all that. Starting off with the first page, we are going into 2024 with my performance at Weep Fest. My brother's girlfriend actually took all these photos, and I had them laying around, and so I decided to put them in there first. Also, the little Nehkopuf sticker, that was actually the first sticker I ever made. I handed them out for free, and I had my little Instagram on the back, and I made them myself. Oh my god. And my amazing sibling took me to one of my first events. I think this was my second event that I did. One of my bestest of friends, Maya Papaya 701, was with me as well, and so that was a cool experience. Also in 2024, I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Japan. I went with my high school, and this was my senior year, and so I was just so excited, and we were in Shinjuku. I was with one of my friends, and we were both we need to go to a maid cafe. And so we went to Maid Dreaming. It was one of the most revolutionary experiences I've ever had. There was a bit of a language barrier, but it was all good because we communicated through Google Translate in broken Japanese, and it was fun because through Google Translate I was do you have any cats? And she's yes I do, and she showed me one of her cats, and she asked me she's do you know? She pointed to her Opanchu Usagi, and at the time I forgot the name of this character, and I wanted to tell her that I knew who it was, and I was thinking so hard how am I gonna tell her I knew? I was at the table and I was "Haiteru desu kedo!" and then she started laughing, and then she went to one of her maid co-workers and literally repeated what I said, and she was "Haiteru desu kedo!" and then they both started laughing. It was one of the most, I think this was one of the best experiences I did have in Japan, and I definitely go again when I eventually go back. Finally, we are in 2025. My first page for 2025 was a vision board, and on Pinterest I wanted to put things that I'm working towards, things that I want to achieve this year. And I feel a lot of them did come true, improving my stage presence, more self-care, and different mantras rejection is redirection. Speaking of rejection, when I made this page, I was actually going through a pretty hard rejection for an opportunity that I worked really hard for. And instead of, rotting away in my room, I decided, I was like, no, I'm gonna go out in community. There is a event today, Milky Way Marketplace. There's gonna be lots of idols, lots of vendors, and so I am gonna do that. And let me tell you, this was one of the best redirections ever. The support that I felt at that event, even though I wasn't even performing, I was just there just to live, was just so amazing, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Now for this next page, I went to Akiba Live and I got to see one of my favorite idol duos, which is Super Melody. It's very good. And on the same day, I'm pretty sure, I had gotten accepted into Anime Expo. So that was a pretty special day. Now, for this next page, I performed at AniFest, and this was my first time meeting Yurika from Puka Chroma. And at this time, their group was still pre-debut, and so she's performing just as a soloist. And we took a picture, me, Yurika, and Bria, and they gave me the checkies. This was one of the first times where I started to notice that people were recognizing me at conventions, and I know I was performing there, but still it was so surreal. I was like, you know who I am? How do you know that? How do you know that information? For this page, I decided to make a Miku collage because I just had so many Miku items laying around. I was like, why not? I have Miku and I have a lot of blue items, so let me just make a whole collage. It was very fun. This was my second time going to Asior Maid Cafe at their new location, and I was going through a little bit, but this was a great break from college and just all of the things going on, and I was drawn by Maid Mocha. It was a really nice experience being back at the cafe again. My next page is more of a journal than I'd say collage. I was taking 2 English classes at the same time, along with a different music theory class, and it was just a lot. But what got me through it was definitely watching Nana every day for lunch. And it was so good because there's a million episodes. Well, not a million, more like 50. But it was still a lot of fun having something to look forward to after my classes and after studying and stuff. And I could really relate to these characters. So, it was a time. For the next page, this was Milky Way Marketplace Volume 2. I cosplayed as Asior Maid Cafe's mascot, Maid Milky, and it was for one of their cosplay contests, but sadly, I did not win. I was pretty sad, but we win some, we lose some, and overall, it was a super fun day. Afterwards, we went down to Little Tokyo, while coincidentally, ICE protests were going on, and honestly, it was way different than what the media was portraying. It was a bit scary because, there were a ton of helicopters, there was a lot of smoke in the air, but in the area that we were in Little Tokyo. We need to protect our immigrant community, and we need to stand up against something that is so cruel. And if I'm being honest, we're all immigrants here. This was stolen land. America is stolen land. So it does not make any sense. Silence is what they want, so I'm doing my best to speak out. Anime Expo! This was truly one of the best experiences I have ever had. From performing on such a big stage to seeing myself in the infamous Anime Expo programming guide, it was literally a surreal experience. And I remember my first Anime Expo was when I was 13 in 2019, and I just remember going there and being like, wow, this is something that I want to be a part of. And to finally go again and be like, wow, I'm a part of this. It was such a unique and amazing experience, as well as going on the days that I didn't perform. I walked around the different vendors hall. I made sure to take breaks, drink a lot of water, because going to conventions of this size, you're going to be doing a lot of walking. It's going to be very overstimulating. And so just, keeping tabs on yourself and how you're doing definitely could be a make or break. Even at least for me, I definitely have seen a difference from when I pay attention to myself and then when I don't, and I'm just like, go, 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 go. So I've learned my lesson from, different convention experiences. July! Even though Anime Expo is now over, I still had a bunch of stuff planned with my friends and also the Ado Hibana tour. Seeing the sea of penlights in the crypto arena was just so inspiring, and seeing just how much effort was put into this concert. It truly was a revolutionary experience, and I hope one day I'll be able to throw amazing concerts like Ado. Happy birthday to me. My birthday live was the most rewarding event I have ever done. I put so much work into throwing this birthday live, to making the flyers, making the merch, getting, connections to get the event started, and it was so rewarding. It was such a fun time. So many people showed up, and I was like, oh my God. And just the amount of love I received was so amazing. And I definitely, after that, I was like, no, I can't wait for the next one. I cannot wait for the next one. And it opened a whole new world for me with event creation, and it gave me the motivation to be like, wow, I can throw events too. I can do this. And so it's one for the books. This next page was during Halloween weekend, and I went to US Idol Fest and also to the pre-party that was at Asior Maid Cafe, and I got to see Mekai Oceanus, and they were so cool, and my favorite is Inori. She's so cool. And I also got to see Strawberry Sundae, of course. I got to see my Oshi Ai. And it was honestly such a great Halloween weekend. And I did dress up as Tyler, the Creator, in the checkies. You can't really see the outfit fully, but it's based on of his Chromacopia album, which I was really obsessed with at the time. And yay! This was my first ever rave I went to, and I went with my friend Jalen, and it was a Miku rave. We had so much fun, and there were so many cool people and so many cool cosplayers, and I definitely go to another rave again with her. And sadly, Jalen did go to Washington for a bit, but she will come back. So when she does, we will definitely be hitting up some more raves together. Hashtag rave girlies. Yay! This was my first ever off-kai. It was so much fun, and I got to spend some great quality time with my fans. And we went to karaoke together, and we all sung our favorite songs. And to be honest, I was pretty dripped out with my Santa hat. And then afterwards, we went to this cafe, and I shared this red bean parfait with everyone. And that was really fun, and just getting to know everyone better, and just having really kind company and just great people to be around. And the vibes are good. The vibes were vibing, and I cannot wait for next time. Alright, that wraps up the Idol 2025 scrapbook. Bye-bye. Remember to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell of this video. Bye.